Hello, Warriors, and welcome to the inaugural episode of Spartan Downunder podcast. We're your hosts, Russell Nelms
and Tori Bullard, and we're excited to embark on this journey with you. This podcast is not just about fitness and conquering obstacles, it's about unlocking the warrior within you, blending the best of human potential from all walks of life. Join us as we explore the wisdom of psychologists, learn from visionary entrepreneurs, hear the tales of daring adventurers, gain insight from elite athletes, and so much more.
Together, we're going to delve into realms of health, fitness, and life and wisdom, discovering how to enhance not just our physical strength, but our mental resilience and spiritual well-being. So whether you're chasing a dream, building a business, or simply navigating the beautiful chaos of life, Spartan Downunder is your sanctuary for inspiration and growth.
Get ready to unleash your potential, break through barriers, and discover the best version of yourself. Welcome to Spartan Downunder. I guess we'll just kind of get started. So welcome to Spartan Downunder, this fantastic new forum for already such a fantastic community and broader as such. But I guess to kind of kick it off, we're going to get to know both myself and Russell. So we'll start with you, Russell. Tell us who you are, what you do.
Okay, so Russell Nelms. I'm the Managing Director and CEO for Spartan. Been the CEO now for about 9 months. I'm really looking forward to supercharging the brand here in Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji, taking our multi-brand strategy through the next 5 to 10 years.
Amazing. And how did you actually get your start with Spartan?
Well, the first Spartan race I saw was in 2015. There was a Spartan race here in Sydney. It was at ANZ Stadium. And I'd seen Spartan floating around for a while on social media. A couple of my friends thought we should give it a go. Went out for my first race, a stadium race conducted in 2015, and did my first sprint. I was addicted after the first race, looking at the obstacles, understanding how to navigate the obstacles. That first event, it was just trying to get through the obstacles with just pure strength. That year, though, I was committed to actually getting a trifecta. So I left Sydney, did a super down in Melbourne, did a beast down in Melbourne, got my first trifecta, and then continued on. So to me, it became a quite addictive for my very first race. And as I mentioned, the first race was about trying to get through strength. And then I learned that there was a lot of other ways that we get through the obstacles. And I think that's the way you can go through life as well. So it's how do you go through different techniques to actually getting over the obstacles. And it's not just about how I traverse a rope, but it's the technique of crossing that rope. It's not just about getting over the 8-foot wall, but it's the technique of getting over the 8-foot wall. And to me, it's something that I build upon, not just with Spartan itself, but life in general.
Absolutely. It's so phenomenal. And you've been in the game for a while. So it's great to see as well how it will have evolved, and you stepping in as CEO, how you know kind of the journey that it's taken and where it can go from here. But what is your not fitness related favorite activity?
Oh, not fitness related. I mean, that's a tough one. I love traveling. So to me, I love getting out and traveling, but that could be something local. That could be, even though it's not fitness related, I love just going out for a hike, going out and observing nature. But I really love going on holidays and just seeing new places. To me, that's something that I really enjoy. Just going into new places and seeing what I can find.
So, and what gets you out of bed in the morning?
So what gets me out of bed every morning is a challenge. I love starting the day with a good workout. It gets me up, it gets me motivated, and gets me focused for the day. I've already started the day before. I've already focusing on what the things I need to accomplish for the day. But I find that morning run, that morning workout just gives me that opportunity to think through some of the challenges that I know I have ahead of myself the day, and actually helps me cleanly think about what I need to do. And I work through breaking that day down into bite-sized chunks and ensuring that at the end of the day, I've been able to focus on the things that I need to accomplish. At the end of the day, I try to look back and say, have I actually accomplished the things that I'm supposed to do? And in most cases, there are things that have been left outstanding, but have actually covered off the priorities. And then that actually helps me with the next day, because it helps me refocus for the next and the next. And I still have to say that that morning routine actually helps me focus for the rest of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a solid morning routine and like having, whether it's every single day having the exact same routine or kind of having a similar flow, really does affect how the rest of your day goes. Like, I know for me, if I don't get up in the morning and kind of, have my cup of tea and have some quiet time and do a meditation, I don't feel balanced now for the rest of the day. If I skip that step, everything kind of just like fumbles along. It doesn't feel like there's an actual natural flow to it.
And I agree with you. I mean, it doesn't have to be a run. It doesn't have to be a gym workout. It doesn't have to be a walk, but it's actually getting out and having some physical activity. I think it's really important. It does help you clear your mind. And I find that sometimes when I actually have the most challenging thing that I have to accomplish, it's when I'm out on that run or I'm out on that walk or I'm out on that hike, that the epiphany or the answer that I've been looking to just comes into my mind, and it just helps crystallizes what I need to get done. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's such a fantastic way to start your day and to clear your mind and kind of start that day with a fresh slate.
Well, Tori, you got to know a little bit about me. Let's get to know a little bit about you. So why don't you tell me about yourself? Who are you?
Yeah, so my name is Tori Bullard. I am the podcast producer for Spartan Downunder. And I do a myriad of things outside of this. I'm also an actor. I'm also a podcast producer elsewhere. But mainly what I'm doing is here I am a podcast producer for Spartan Downunder.
Fantastic. So why did you want to get involved in Spartan?
So Spartan has been part of my life for a very long time. I've never actually participated in a Spartan race myself, though that will be changing in April of this year. But Spartan has been a part of my life for years through my dad. His name is Bull, if you know of him. And I've always loved the community. So I've attended some events, but I've never actually participated in one. And I've always loved seeing just the amount of community and joy and change that Spartan can bring into people's lives. And I think that's so important, and we don't get to see enough of that, I think, in the current world. And so I just went, oh, like this is a community that I want to be involved with, because it feels like such an open and joyous and team-based community. It's not every man for themselves. Everybody is working together and supporting each other, and I was like, that's a community that I want to be a part of.
Look, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think there's a lot of people that don't get involved with, our main brand, Spartan, that they don't understand that, a large portion, over 80% of the participants are actually in our open wave category. And the intent there is it's team-based. It's helping each other get through the obstacles. And we want people to have a challenge. The tagline is, you'll know at the finish line. You actually do understand that you've gone through that with some of your mates, with some of your friends, and you actually understand what you've been able to accomplish. And even some of our other brands, have similar challenges, but it's what you can get on the other side, that feeling of accomplishment, that feeling of teamwork, which is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you asked me what my favorite activity was. I think I need to go back to you. What is your favorite activity that's non-work related?
My favorite non-work related activity is probably my main one is reading. I'm a big reader. I'm a big fan of escapism. I love me some good high fantasy, some Tolkien. So I love having an opportunity to escape, but I find that reading actually inspires me in what I do every day. These worlds that people create, and these challenges that they experience, which is, again, part of the reason why I was so excited to join with Spartan, because it's a challenge. And I feel like, you don't grow without those challenges. But that's something that I think reading has taught me. So reading is probably my favorite non-work related activity.
Excellent. Well, here's one for you, left field. What's your favorite beverage?
My favorite beverage is tea. I love just a good cup of tea in the morning. That's how I start my morning, is a good cup of Australian breakfast tea, with just like a little bit of oat milk in it.
Excellent.
I guess we'll kind of jump into, obviously, there is quite a big shift happening with Spartan, all for the better right now. So Spartan 3.0, what does that mean, and what can we expect for the future of Spartan, ANZ, and Fiji?
Okay, that's an excellent question. So Spartan 3.0. So Spartan 3.0 is a new management structure that's come on board to actually look at Spartan Oceania, so looking after Spartan Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji. What does it mean for the community? I think first and foremost, it's a group of people that have come together with the same mindset about giving back to the community. First and foremost, everything that we do should be seen as how we can actually help people actually achieve their physical fitness goals, people that potentially might have some other challenges in life, that we can actually help them get through those barriers. And how we can do that is through a myriad of brands that we offer. So we call this podcast Spartan Downunder, and that is, Spartan itself is one of many brands that we offer. So we offer Spartan. Spartan, of course, has many different offerings. It has the Spartan Sprint, the 5K, the Spartan Super, the 10K, the Beast, the 20K, all the way up to the Spartan Ultra, which is 50K with 60 obstacles. We move over into Tough Mudder. Tough Mudder is a fantastic offering where we also offer 5, 10, and 15K. And it's a different type of race entirely. It is an event where people come together and throw themselves in mud, have fun. It's more of a team corporate day out. Last year in Sydney, we had almost 10,000 people come together to literally play in the mud, go through obstacles for 5, 10, and 15Ks. Fabulous event. Then we get a bit more extreme, and we call it Spartan Extreme or Endurance event. And these are our 4-hour, 12-hour, and 24-hour endurance events. And one of the things that our racers and athletes will see this year is we actually, on top of the 4-hour hurricane heat that we'll offer at our trifecta races, we'll also be offering an endurance weekend where we'll actually be unleashing a 4-hour, 12-hour, and 24-hour endurance weekend, which will really test people's physical and mental limits. Then we move into DECA. DECA is functional fitness. DECA is going to be unleashed into Australia. It's coming up really, really soon at the Melbourne Fitness Expo, where we'll have over 20,000 people at the Fitness Expo in Melbourne. And then later in the year in September, we'll be at the Sydney Expo with over 30,000 people. And then we're also looking at launching another brand called Highlander, which is a multi-day trekking event. And that's 25, 50, 75, and 100K events. So really looking at the full arsenal that Spartan offers. And we actually push forward now. If you go onto our website, you can see all these offerings that we have. And we actually are launching races. And that goes the full spectrum across Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji. And to me, it's a fantastic opportunity to, one, again, offering great benefits to people, both on physical fitness, mental fitness, and also looking at giving back to the community.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. And I'm already so excited to see just the amount of change and the amount of joy that has been brought. Obviously, Spartan already had such a excited and joyful community, and I guess kind of jumping into the next topic that we're going to talk about, which is the Bright Trifecta weekend that was just 2 weeks ago. Already the everything that I've seen from Bright has been absolutely phenomenal. What were some of the highlights from the Trifecta weekend in Bright?
I think the biggest highlight for me was, one, just getting back to Bright. Globally, Sparta, Greece is known as the home of Spartan. I would say in Australia that Bright is the home for Spartan in Australia. When I came on board as a managing director and CEO, I was pretty adamant. I really wanted to make sure that our first race of the year was going to be held in Bright. Everyone that has been to Bright knows how epic the hills are, how challenging it is, and the community is so welcoming. The Alpine Shire is fantastic. And I can say they put on a phenomenal event. We saw mornings at 8 degrees up to 31 degrees during the day. Some of the records we saw, we actually had the highest record for ultra racers in Australia history at that race. We actually had the highest record for kids races at an individual kids race at that race. Our total numbers exceeded our target. We had over 4,500 registered racers on the weekend, which to me was just phenomenal. It showed exactly what I said at the very beginning of your question. The home of Spartan in Australia is in Bright. So we had people coming from across Australia and 18 countries. So in addition to Australia, we had people from 18 separate countries come here to actually experience not just the largest ultra in Australia history, but the first ultra on the Spartan Global calendar for this year. So fantastic outcome. Look at demographics. It would be hard to say, do we have more men, more women, the age demographics? They were split quite well. We had about 60% male, 40% female. So we had a good demographic of people that showed up, and across the ages as well. So it really was spawned across all of our age groups, was fantastic. Some of the things that I think is really important, though, is that I said at the very beginning, part of Spartan 3.0 is about giving back. Whenever we do a race and we bring this many people to one small community, 4,500 registered racers, you have to assume that there's going to be a positive economic impact to the community. And to me, that is just phenomenal. Some of the analysis that we did, we're looking at a little over $4 million of economic impact that we threw into that community with the domestic international travel. So that's people booking Airbnbs, booking a hotel, going out to dinner. So on average, an international traveler is going to be there for 10 days, not just seeing Bright, but going out to other areas around the Alpine region, people going out to dinner, the number of restaurants. So to me, it is a fantastic outcome. We actually had our participants go back to the home of Spartan in Australia, race some iconic hills, some new obstacles, and then Alpine region, as I said, such a welcoming community, and we're able to give back financially to the degree that we did. To me, it's just a wonderful, wonderful outcome.
Yeah, it looked, just from the snapshots that I was able to see, it looked absolutely fantastic. It looked like such an exciting, even just the week in the lead up to the race looked absolutely thrilling. So I'm
Yeah.
so excited to have seen how it, like, how well it was received. And there were some new obstacles added as well, I believe.
Yeah, there was some new obstacles, and that is also part of the strategy for Spartan 3.0 is that we want to introduce more obstacles, more challenges for our participants. So we did offer new Eco Aims laser pistol. We also introduced balance beam. We also offered a log carry. And something that's very important to me is also investing into our children. So we invested in our kids' race, which has been underinvested for a number of years. And we looked at putting in a mini stairway to Sparta, mini slip wall, mini balance beams, mini inverted wall, which really brought the kids' race to a new level. To me, it was fantastic to watch our young warriors out there just giving it a hard crack at the course and having a blast. Having a blast. To me, that was just phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, it's so exciting. I did see some of the miniaturized versions of the obstacles, and I was like, I hope those are the ones that I get to do in Picton in April, because otherwise it's gonna be a time. It's definitely gonna be a challenge. But I'm excited for the challenge. I'm going to drag some of my dear friends with me, and we're gonna do it as a team, and it's gonna be fun, I'm sure.
So you mentioned that you saw a lot of hype coming up to the race. I think one thing that's really
Yeah.
important to everyone to understand is that we actually had a team in place 2 weeks before the event, and it takes a lot of work to put on an event like that. So we had 35 fantastic staff working really, really hard 2 weeks leading up to the event. And we're really happy that Thursday morning we were able to say that the course was ready to go. We've actually had a couple of runs of the Beast course, the Super course, and the Sprint course. And it left us Friday morning to finish up the festival area and run an activation. But we finished the race. I think it's important also people understand that we actually had people on site for up to a week afterwards, getting all of the obstacles down, getting them ready for the next race, which is what you're talking about in April. So I think it's going to be fantastic to
Yeah.
see you out at Picton and giving that course just a good hard crack, which is fantastic.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so much work goes into it, so much care goes into the creation of these events. They're not kind of just thrown together at the last minute. There is a lot of time and consideration put in to not only the difficulty of it, but also the enjoyment that people will get from doing that. And what do you think we've learnt from Bright that we will then use going forwards towards the next races?
Probably one of the biggest things is ensuring that we energize our racers both pre and post the event. I feel that we had a fantastic venue. We had a good layout, good flow for our obstacles. We will continue to uncover more obstacles throughout the year, and that's going to even present more challenges to our racers. And things will be dynamic through the year, which I think is really good. But the festival area, the one thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that the festival area actually has proper activations. The last thing we want racers to do is finish the race, take off their shoes, head to the car, and head home. We want them to actually
Yeah.
embrace the community, meet new people, actually enjoy themselves, and actually ensure that we have enough activations in the festival area that is as it is defined. It is a festival area where people can actually meet, congregate, meet new people, and actually enjoy themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. It is, because it is such a part of it. It's an event. It's not just the activity of doing the race. It's also probably getting to see people that you don't get to see all the time, and actually having that time together pre and post race, and having a space, a comfortable space in which to do that is so important. And I guess we'll kind of move on to, why did we decide to create Spartan Downunder. And obviously there are a myriad of reasons for the creation of this podcast. And I think it's really important, as we've kind of already mentioned, but really to solidify it, that we're not just here to talk about Spartan and Spartan racing and Tough Mudder and Decker. This is also just to talk about life and to learn from one another and from some fantastic guests. I think it's also that idea that we spoke about of giving back to the community. Spartan has such a wonderful, heartfelt, and genuinely caring community, and we want to give back to them by not only giving advice for races, but advice for life from entrepreneurs, from psychologists, dietitians. So I think that for me, that was kind of the catalyst behind when I kind of brought the idea to you and was like, this is why I think, the fact that you didn't already have a podcast, I was like, that's wild. This is absolutely, people would love this because they love this community so much and learning from each other, just from the small insight that I've had. For you, Russell, why do you think it was so important to have a podcast?
Well, I think quite simply, even as you said, is to celebrate this wonderful community that we have. It's to bring people together. And I said earlier, it's not just about physical fitness. It could be about mental fitness. It could be about challenges that you're having. So my vision with the podcast is that we actually have people that we're able to interview from myriads of walks of life. I would love to get some fantastic elite athletes on the podcast. I would like to get our rookie racers on the podcast to understand what they've gotten through it. I would love to talk to a sports psychologist, an entrepreneur, other people. And if we can have people listen to the podcast and get a little nugget of information that actually helps them through a barrier or a challenge they have in life, we've given back to this wonderful community. So to me, that's the essence and the core of what I want to do the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's absolutely hit the nail on the head. We just want to give back to this already fantastic community in a myriad of different ways, because there is life, you only get one life, and we want to make sure that we are living our best lives. And sometimes you can feel lost and not entirely sure where to go. Sometimes you don't even know where to look for the answer. I know I've heard things in the past on podcasts that I've gone, I didn't even know I needed that information. But now that I've had that information, that has just elevated how I live my life and has helped me through this barrier that I didn't even really necessarily know that I had. So I'm so excited for us to start this journey together, and with this already fantastic community and hopefully growing community. But I think, is there anything else that you want to add before we wrap up this little intro episode?
I think the one last thing is just to say that, this is about sharing, not just with the community, but also, as you said, you'll get information from one podcast that you weren't aware of. So it's actually sharing the trials and tribulations of life with each other, sharing wisdom, sharing guidance. There's so much that I'm hoping that people will get out of this podcast, and they continue to check in. And this becomes an episode that they want to continue to listen to. So look, I really want to say a big thanks to diving into the debut of Spartan Downunder with us. Your present fuels our journey, and trust us, the adventure is just getting started.
Brace yourself for mind-blowing guests ahead, and stay connected on Instagram at Spartan Downunder Podcast, and gear up for more conquest, warriors. Until next time, keep conquering challenges.